Hey everyone, and welcome. Don't mind the watermark, I'm just too cheap to pay the fee. So anyways, if you clicked on this, you are probably new to synthesis or maybe even music in general, but I doubt that part. But at least synthesis, right? So I'm going to go over, I guess, three things, right? What's the best synth to start out if you're not musically inclined at all? You know, you think synths are cool, but you've never played any instrument in your life. Number two, what's cool if you're coming from like a guitar or some other type of instrument, but you've never played any type of key instrument in your life, or barely. Or three, if you're like, you play pianos and organs and stuff and you want to get into the synthesizer world. Alright? So first off, let's start off with the simplest one. You've never done anything ever, right? So if you've never done anything ever, you're going to want something that's all-in-one. So you're going to want something with a keyboard. Now you can buy, now I have Sweetwater up here because I'm just going to show you some synths on here. Now, it's not affiliated with Sweetwater. You can shop anywhere, Zazounds, Craft Music, plenty of other great places, Reverb. But anyways, start off with something simple. And I recommend starting off with something monophonic because that means it only plays one note at a time. It's going to be easier for you to learn because you're not going to worry about chords or, moving my chair. You don't have to worry about chords or playing anything like that more than one note at a time. Just one single note. Easier starting point, I believe. Now, I don't want to recommend you anything I haven't actually played myself. You know, there's things like the Novation Bass Station 2, which I've heard a lot of great things about. But I can't recommend it because, like I said, I haven't played it. And it wouldn't be right to you guys. So yeah, but I will do some recommendations of things I haven't. That one would be in this list. Just note that I haven't played the Bass Station 2, so just have that in mind. So other than the Bass Station 2, things I've actually played that fit that description, let's show you. So first off, we'll start off with let's see here. Let's see if they still sell it. They probably do. I guess they don't. Well, if they still sell it new, did I spell it wrong? I guess they don't sell it new, but there's let's just go on the Reverb. Alright, so first off, if money is no option, you can buy new, but try to buy used, you'll save a lot of money. So there's the Micro Freak, but it's a little more complicated. I don't really recommend you jump into that as your first one. But the Micro Brute, the only reason it's gone up a little bit, I guess, is it's harder to find. I don't know if they sell it new anymore or not. Maybe they're going to come up with a second one. But this is very, very limited synth. Very easy to learn, very compact. If space is an issue, and you want something like super, super simple for you to learn, but that also gives you a decent sound palette, and if you're into more harsher tones, right, go for this. Pretty cool synth. I had one. I had to sell it back when I needed money to pay a bill, but it's on my list for sure to get another one day. I really want one. Now, I've never played the Mini Brute, but the Mini Brute it's kind of like a Micro Brute, but a little bit different features. So I guess Micro Brute and Mini Brute are a little bit interchangeable, but Micro Brute's the only one I've owned. Okay, now the next recommendation would be the Korg Monologue. Now, I've owned two of these because I did some stereo experimentation with it, but I had to also sell that to pay a bill. I know. But there's a big discrepancy between a used one and a new one. So try to go for a used one. You used to be able to get these for like $199 used. I don't know why they've gone up more. I guess inflation. Yeah, try to get one of these for around $200 free if you can. $200 free shipping. If you try hard enough, you can find it eventually. What's good about this, out of all the synths I'm going to list on here for you guys, is besides the Bass Station 2, which I have not played, but this and the Bass Station 2 actually have presets. So that means you can record a sound and save it for later in a bank of sounds to use at another time, which is great. yeah. So while this also comes with a sequencer. You can see the little sequencer with those little red dots. That's where you enter notes and they play in a sequence, right? The micro brute that I showed you actually has a it doesn't have a sequencer, but it has a arpeggiator. That's kind of like the same thing, except you can't really program the notes. It plays them in like a certain order, like up through the note range or down or up down up down. You can look it up for more information, but that doesn't save sounds. Now the next one I can recommend to you, the last one on this list for new people. Well, actually, I'll add another one. We'll do Behringer MS1. Now, I had some issues with it. I probably just had not really a good one. Had some issues. Had to return it. But if you want to try your luck, get one of these. Now, the thing about these is you can get this brand new. Like I'll show you. You can get this brand new now for only $200. They're blowing them out because they're coming out with a version 2. You're going to have to wait probably a few months for it to arrive, and you can only get it in red, but hey, this is going to be your best bang for your buck, especially if you want to buy new. Now, it does have a little sequencer on there. I can't remember if it has an arpeggiator or not. Let's look. Does it? I don't know. No, but this one's going to be this one's actually going to be kind of more simpler than the micro brute, but in a different kind of way. I'm not sure if the micro brute is more, I don't know which one you'd call more complex. Maybe the micro brute is simpler, I don't know. But they're about on par with each other. Now this is only going to be a single oscillator, where I think the Base Station 2 is dual, and the monologue is dual. You know, it's your sound source, what makes the sound. And you get 2 of those in something like the monologue, and you can combine them for even more sounds, where this only has 1, so it does limit your sounds a lot more. So do have that in mind. But if you want a really, really simple experience, but you're not going to be able to save your sounds, go for this. If saving your sounds is important, then, like I said, monologue or Base Station 2. All right, well, that's for that. Now, I'll throw in a little bonus. If you want something that's more high quality, you don't mind spending more, what is it? Which one? What's the cheapest Moog? What's the cheapest Moog? Is it the I'm not talking about those little ones. Is it the Subsequent 25 or is it the Sub Fatty? Let's see. Hold on. Go for either the Subsequent 25 or Sub. Yeah, you can get the Sub Fatty. Oh my god. Yeah. Sub Fatty or Subsequent 25. Let's see. Sub Fatty. I don't remember what the difference is, but if you want something that's a lot higher quality and you're kind of afraid of build quality, then go for one of these used. I'm not sure the exact difference between the Subsequent 25 and the Sub Fatty. The Subsequent 25 is going to be a little bit more, but yeah. And if you want vintage, go for, let's see, these used to be affordable, but they're probably not anymore. Yeah, not bad, not bad. You used to be able to get these for like $400 before the pandemic, but CS5, cool little synth. If you want vintage, right? If you want vintage, go for like a Yamaha CS5 or a CS10, right? They're a little bit different, CS5 or CS10. I think the CS10 was for the Japanese market only. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was. I could be wrong though, but they're a little bit different. Or maybe it just wasn't sold in America. I'm not sure. But yeah, go for one of these if you want vintage. All right, well that's for that. This video has a recording maximum of 10 minutes. So I'm gonna start a part 2. In the part 2, it'll be connected to this in one video, so don't worry. But in the part 2, I will cover if you're coming from a different instrument or if you're coming from piano or organ or anything, and that'll be a much shorter section because I want to try to speed this along for you guys, because the first people in this first section will need a little more explanation than the rest of you, I think. So yeah. Waiting on those final few seconds to end. This is Alright, we're at part 2 now. So now let's say, okay, you play guitar, but you haven't played anything keys. Maybe you played tuba, I don't know. You play guitar. Let's just go with you play guitar. Now, back to what I said earlier. If you want, how musical inclined are you, right? Do you think keys are going to be easy for you? Have you ever tried a keyboard even a little bit? If it's very foreign to you and you just don't like the key action, apply everything from part 1 to your thing. But specifically, go with the monologue, because I think the keys are laid out differently, where they're set up in the order to be easier for either a guitar or bass player to gel with it. Korg monologue does that, so if you're a guitar bass player, I'd go for the Korg monologue, just because of the way the keys are set up. They're going to be a little more familiar. You can look into it a little more if you want to. Now let's say, but you're a guitar player, but hey, I don't want to do single notes, right? I want to go to playing multiple notes at once. Don't overwhelm yourself, right? Because a guitar, what does it have? 4 strings. So go with something that's a 4 voice, right? Now, if money is no option, let's just do this. If money is no option and you like vintage, definitely go for a Jupiter 4. Man. The Jupiter 4s, Jupiter 6s, Jupiter 8s are great, but you want to start with a Jupiter 4. Man, if money is no option, go for that. But let's for everyone else, if you want something that's tried and true. Now this part is going to apply to both people who are coming from keyboard as well. So take that in mind too. If you're coming from like piano or whatever, is the Roland Juno 106. Now this is just the all-around people pleaser. Now note that these can have some issues. So if you get one that's been restored, you're not going to have the chip issue, where sometimes the chips have to be cleaned. These are going to be kind of expensive. Now you can buy a modern interpretation of these made by like Behringer or another company. Right, so there's a lot of things you can do. It depends if you don't mind buying Behringer in that image, or if you do. But this is also an easy place to start. I don't recommend starting with some kind of module thing, because it's just going to overwhelm you. It's just going to be too much. Just get an all-in-one thing. It's going to be much easier. Now, if you want something a little bit more modern, not going to have some issues, go for something. Now, I've actually played the 106, but I haven't played this next one, but I really want one. Is a Prologue. Now, they make a 16 voice one and an 8 one. They recently gone out of production. Oh, shoot. People have caught on that they're going out of production. Oh, man. Yep, people have caught on. I made this video like 2 days ago, but it turned out badly and I ended it. There was like 2 of these for like $600, and now they're gone. Yep, these are going up quickly, so if you do want one of these, get it now. But they just have in mind they might be coming out with a version 2, or they might not. If they don't come up with a version 2, these values will probably go up a little more. But if they do, they will probably decline. So just have that in mind. Don't buy it as an investment. Only buy it if you want it. Now, the cool thing about this, like I say, especially if you're a guitar or a piano, organ player, is it has this little module in there where you can upload like different algorithms made by other people, and some actually by Korg. So you could upload like an organ machine in there, like an organ synthesizer, or pianos, or guitar, or anything. There's so many different things you can load in there. So this synth will be expansive for you when you want that. So it's a good all-around just starting point. And if you want to play multiple notes, 8 notes is pretty much enough for most people. Yeah. What else? Now, if you really want to dive into the world of the wacky and wonderful, this applies to everybody. If you are not scared to learn programming, if nothing intimidates you, then definitely go for a original wave station. Not the new ones, but the OG, because you can get them so affordable, right? They were like, is it the EX? I think it's the EX. I think the EX is the original. Or is it the SE? No. That's the Wave Station. Yeah, it's not that. It's the Wave Station. But yeah, every once in a while you can find a really good deal on one of these. I got mine for about 230 bucks, excellent condition, a few months ago. But yeah, this is if you want to go high into the world of, if you want to go something high end, very weird, very out of your comfort zone. If, like I said, if you're not a keyboard player, go for one of these. And like I said, every once in a while you can find one in the $200-300 range. It's not going to be often. If you can play the waiting game, then you can find one. But yeah, definitely cool. Now, a vintage option that actually is affordable, I will tell you, is, as you can see, I'm a Korg fanboy, is the DW8000. Now, I believe Depeche Mode used this on their Black Celebration album. You're not going to get one that cheap. They're about $400-500 starting off. If you're in Michigan, that's a good buy right there. But yeah, there's also the 6000. But the thing with the 6000, they're priced about the same on the market. But the 8000 brand new was much more because it's the higher end version. It's just more to it. It's kind of like a wavetable type thing. You just have to do more research into it. But go listen to the Korg W8000. It looks kind of intimidating, but it's actually very, very simple. Very simple for a digital synth, which I believe has analog filters though, so it sounds nice and rich. But yeah, vintage. This is definitely my #1 vintage recommendation of any synth you can buy for sure for the money. Definitely DW8000. Now new. Let's throw back onto the sweet water. Let's go to synthesizers. Let's see, they're most popular. Now the thing with most popular, this doesn't mean this is what's the best. This just means what's selling now, because this is usually what's new, or just what's established and people love. Like these just came out like a day or like a few days ago, so they're not like the best thing ever. They're just new and everyone's buying them. We're not going to get into drum machines or samplers or any of that in this video. It's too much for y'all, for if you're a new person starting out. But like here, Behringer UBXA, you know, it's a clone of the Oberheim OBXA from the 80s. Not a bad buy, but I haven't heard enough of it. I don't know if it sounds good or not, really. So use your judgment on that. But I know a lot of people will be against the Behringer stuff. What I say on it, I have 3 things to say. #1 is if you're complaining, oh, it's made by slaves. A lot of things made in China are. So if you're supporting things made in China, well, you're kind of a hypocrite on that point. #2 is, well, they're probably cheap. They're probably low quality. That applies to some. They are hit or miss, I'll be honest with you. I've had some that are great, hit way above their weight, and some that are just, they're not that. They're not good. So you're going to have to do a little give and take with that. And 3 is, maybe you don't want to support the company because things Uli's done or said, you know, like the whole cork sniffer thing, or insulting people, or any of that. You know, I used to be on their team, cheerleader for them, but then I kind of turned against them. And then now I'm really just live and let live, but at the same time, it's like, if they're making something, usually, if they're making something like someone else is still making, then it kind of feels scummy. But if they're making something that's out of production, or if they're making an analog version of something that Roland refuses to make analog and gives us a little digital toy, then it doesn't bother me, right? But like they're cloning like current Moog synths that are currently in production. That's not cool. So just use your judgment on what Behringer stuff you buy, because some of it's great, some of it's not. Some of it's overrated, some of it's underrated. So there you go. Like, for example, I bought the Behringer K2 because I really wanted that type of sound from the MS-20. And I bought it over the MS-20 for one reason alone. It's because it has both filter types that the MS-20 had. The original harsher filter and then the later filter, whereas the MS-20 only has one of them. The new MS-20, I think, the later filter. So I wanted the extra filter. But I felt kind of bad that I bought the knockoff product over the original product. So I literally have had it for over a year and I haven't opened it. So, but one day I'll play it. But there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's not that short, but for me, 20 minutes with my ADHD is actually short. And I encourage y'all to get into that synthesizer world. It's very fun. It can be intimidating, but don't let it don't let it discourage you. Start with something easy and hands-on. All right, thank you for watching.